Hello, everyone. Guess what day it is? It is Thanksgiving Thursday, and this is your host on another episode of The Question. Tonight, we are going to get into the body, the mind, and the soul of man. Yes, that is what we are going to do. So, you know what we do here. We inspire, we motivate, we empower, we educate. Exactly. So if this is your first time tuning in to the question, I want to say welcome. And if this is not your first time tuning in, I still want to say welcome to the question. It is Thursday. So here are the rules that we hand out on Thursday. One, you see over there is in red. It says live. Absolutely live. So if you're seeing that sign that says live, simply mean you are in the live audience and you have the opportunity to share this live. Welcome someone with you. We are not doing this by ourselves. And that's what it is. Sharing is caring. So you have this opportunity to share the live with someone. Bring them in. Two, what you say, get something to drink. Get something to drink, whether it is water, wine, tea, soda, whatever it is, get something to drink. Of course, I have my drink right there. I like to say to get something to drink because we get talkative here and we do a lot of things. So you want to have that time to hydrate yourself. Three. Three is come ready, be ready. Have your pen, have your notebook right here. Have it ready. Why would I say that? Well, we drop golden nuggets here. We drop juicy contents here. And when juicy contents are dropped here, when it's written down, it is more real. And that's what you want to have. Real stuff, real substance right here. So we do all of that here. If you don't have a pen and if you don't have a notebook, what do I say? Use your devices. Absolutely. Every device that you have supposed to have a notebook section on there. So should I pause? And I tell you, all those three things I just told you. Well, you have time to go use the bathroom and then come back because tonight, guess we are going to go into the total being of man, well, woman too, beautiful people like us. Yes, we are going to go in alignment with who we are and how things affect us. Because sometimes things affect us in some way, and we have to know how to express ourselves. So, again, I am going to give you 5 seconds. Five. Judy, welcome. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do those three things that I say to you. Those three things are look at the live up there, share it. Sharing is caring. Two, grab yourself something to drink. And three, have your writing tools ready, pen and paper, so we could wind on in the show with our juicy content because our guest coming up tonight, she's going to go in the mind, the body, and the soul. But before I do that, I want to say it is Veterans Day. I want to send peace and blessing to all the veterans out there who have served and who are serving and who plan to serve. I want to say peace be with you. So before we start the show, I do have a few veterans who have served us well, and I will have them give just a few words to honor Veterans Day right here on the question.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Kenneth L. Watson Jr. author of 12 Phases of Sober. I'm also a disabled veteran of the United States Army. I served 6 years. Just wanted to send a happy Veterans Day to all those that have served prior to today, as well as those that are still on active duty and are protecting our freedom here in the United States. And a special prayer to those that are abroad that are protecting our freedom as well.
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans, past, present, and future. Thank you for your sacrifice. Without your sacrifice, I wouldn't be able to be a veteran myself. So I just want to say thank you. God bless you and your family, and let's continue to make ourselves in this country, in this world of ours, great. Thank you, and God bless.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Love Hawkins. I am a Navy and Air Force veteran, and I'd like to take the time out to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there and extend an extra level of gratitude to all the family members because we know that they serve right along with those veterans, and it takes such a huge sacrifice. Thank you so much. And again, Happy Veterans Day, and you are appreciated.
And there we have our veterans giving us honor on this episode of The Question. So, without further ado, let us roll right into our episode tonight as we get ready to talk about the body, mind, and the soul. As I welcome our guest, my dear sister, Precious Carson, to this episode of The Question.
Hello.
Hi, Precious darling. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. And that's always my question. And I always say, answer truthfully. Because you see, sometimes we don't answer truthfully when we say, how are you? We just say, let that go so fluidly. But I like to ask it truthfully. And I like to get truth answer. How are you doing?
Right. I know a lot of times like it's a habit to just say, yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine.
Yes.
Or just going along with the shuffle. But yeah, I'm actually pretty good. So thank you for asking.
Yes. And people, that is it. I like to say, be truthful to yourself and be truthful to the next person because we get so caught up in this fluid answer. How you doing? I'm good. How you doing? I'm good. No, you're not. And often that we're not even half good.
Mm-hmm.
But we just lie to ourselves. Oh, we're good. And we put on a smile when we want to cry. So, my darling, I am going to give you an opportunity to tell us where you're tuning in from and give us a little bit about what you're doing and all that good stuff. Take it from
Awesome.
me.
Thank you so much. My name is Precious Carson. I'm from St. Matthews, South Carolina, a small town here. And I actually just published my first collection of poetry entitled Mind, Body, Soul. And it's kind of like my story, my life story. And it's depicted in poetry. Like, yeah, it's depicted in poetry. And my art is really just telling my life story from when I was a child to now when I'm an adult. A lot of situations that I've gone through, like a lot of mental health, that is a very prevalent thing for me in my life. And those are the things that I mainly talk about. Oh, and I'm 27 years old, and right now I'm a full-time writer.
Wow. Wow. I love it. So, let me celebrate you. One, you're a new
And this is
published
the book.
author. That's the book, people. Look at it right there. Look at it right there. That's the book. So, yes. And you said that you're a full-time writer.
I am. I am. I actually was like really, 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 really committed to school. I went to school to become a doctor at one point. But I don't know. Writing has always been a part of my life since I was a kid. And I don't know. One day I just started because I had stopped for a while, but I started writing poetry. And I was like, every time I write my feelings down, they seem to disappear. Like I seem to get a lot of relief from this. So I kept writing and writing and writing and writing until I came up with over 100 poems. And I said, I think I might compile this and make it a book. And that's what I just decided to do.
Wow. Wow. I always say writing is therapeutic. The more you write, you release something. And I'm not talking about you texting people. Right.
Right.
There's a relationship between you, the
And the
pen,
pen.
and the paper. There is just that relation. There's just that bond between everybody. It's a family thing, pen, paper, and you. And when you
Mhm.
express yourself like that, I always encourage people, please write every day.
Right. Right. I
It's
totally
right.
agree.
It's right to write. Okay. It's
It's therapeutic. It's really therapeutic. And I absolutely love it, love it, love it. It saved me.
yes. And I could give you the same story myself that writing is what just released everything out of me. Like it just like and let you breathe. So I said it's like, oh, let me welcome Lisa, welcome back home, darling. Welcome back home. I like when I see you. So I like to say, welcome back home when I see you. Yes. So again, writing is so important that if you're not writing, it's like you're not living. There's just
Mm,
something about that.
I think it's a really great way and a productive way to express your frustrations, like anything that you feel. And the thing that I enjoy the most is making it artistic and sort of putting a twist to it, because you're not just writing everything down verbatim. Like it's kind of like, you get to put your own little flavor. And I like that. You get to see a person's personality come out through a lot of their art.
Yes. And we're gonna have audience jumping in to ask question. And I see Lisa's asking one already.
Okay.
Lisa is asking, are you going to continue to write poetry or are you writing something else?
I am definitely going to continue to write my poetry. However, I'm working on a screenplay right now. I'm working on a novel and a book of short stories. So, yes, those aren't the only things that I write. I write everything. I am just a full
Writer.
time writer. I'm not just a poet.
Listen, there's a difference, and I say this, there's a difference between a writer and an author. Can you see? A
Mhm.
writer writes.
Mhm.
There's something about writing, but author, you can be an author and you didn't write your book.
Mhm.
But when you're a writer, you're going to write. Because see, a writer, we write every day. Right now, I'm so surrounded right now by books, notebooks, and
Mhm.
pen. I think they just talk to me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now I could count the amount of books that's on my that's looking at my desk. Like, can we write something right now? Yes, we
See,
can.
I have all my books on my Kindle app. And I just go and download them on Amazon, and I can read all day. I'm telling you, all day. I don't even have to talk to anybody if I'm reading.
There you go. Because that's a relationship. Reading and writing, that's a relationship. Okay, reading
Mhm.
and writing, they work hand in hand, just like
Yes.
your mouth and your ears. Hello, people. Anybody out there? Between your mouth, yes, that's a relationship. Okay,
Right.
reading and writing, they work together just like that. Your
Mhm.
hands and your fingers, reading and writing, the same
Right.
comparison. Yes, same comparison.
Mhm.
So good, good, good. That's a good question, Lisa. That's a good question because you see, sister right here is doing her thing. I like to celebrate you. I like when we are doing something. I like when we are investing just right. So you know you're not by yourself. You're not by yourself.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I am further on in the show. I'm going to ask you to read a couple of your poetry.
Thank you. And I was actually looking to find the perfect one, but I already have it. I already have it. I know what
All right, all right.
I'm.
I said this. Don't get ready, be ready.
Right. Yeah. I was just thinking of another one that I might do besides the one that I had, but I think I picked a good one.
All right, good. So let us jump into a question for you. What social issue affects you the most?
Okay, so I when I was 12 years old, I was in a car accident and I lost my mom in the accident, and I became physically disabled. Like from my elbow down, my left arm is paralyzed. And so I was bullied a lot. I was picked on a lot, and my insecurities were just horrible because of it. And I was going through a lot of adult issues at a young age. And so it greatly affected me because I felt alienated. I'm like, I'm going through all of these things. People don't understand why I'm acting the way that I'm acting. I'm a kid. I'm supposed to be enjoying my life, but I
Of
really am.
course.
I'm at a different place in my life. So I dealing with all of those things was really, really difficult.
And of course, a kid, once you're a child, please, parents, if you have children, let your children be children. Please, let your children be children. Sometimes they start shouting, sometimes they start playing too loud, and oh, be quiet. Don't. No, let them express themselves, because when they grow up into adulthood and when they want to express themselves, they already got locked in.
Mm-hmm.
They already got tucked away because you tell them, stay in your place. But
Mm-hmm.
where is their place? Their place is to express themselves to you.
Right.
Their place is to express themselves. And no, stay in your place.
Right.
And they grow up with the same mentality that I should stay in my place. You have grown people at this point that's still that little girl, still that little boy in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
that have not evolved out of the corner of you saying, stay in your corner.
Yeah. A lot of times you just feel like that little, especially when you've gone through trauma, you feel it's like you've been stuck. You're just stuck there as that
Yes.
little girl, And a lot of times it's hard for me to move on, and because of that.
Yeah. And traumatic event stays with you because there's always something to trigger it off.
Mhm.
It's always something to get off. And when you set your mind into a place to say, let me turn the key the opposite way. Let me go an opposite direction on this,
Mhm.
because your mind is so focused on that trauma. And
Right.
oftentimes we hold on to that traumatic event and we cannot move on.
Mhm.
We cannot move on. And it's time for us to grow out of these things. And we have to grow out of it when we set our mind in a different gear.
Right.
So I like how you put that, you write your poetry talking about your stuff. And we all have stuff. That's it. But we got to find a way how to deal with them.
Mhm.
Because I know for sure that when you start writing those, you felt that relief.
Yeah. I felt like I was releasing my baggage. Like
Everybody can relate.
I describe it on the back of my book. I say, I feel like I was taking my baggage to a bonfire and burning it with every poem that I wrote.
Hello, anybody in the audience, can you relate to my precious? Look, I want to say precious,
That's a
but
song. A lot of people always like precious, precious.
I want to precious because you don't say my precious darling, my precious sister. But now I'm going to have to say my precious, my precious. So yeah, all right, my darling precious. So now I have to change the word and say my darling precious. Yes, right, Lisa. Yeah, we want to let you know that we can relate to that, because if you are at a point in your life that you cannot relate something, you are lying to yourself.
Hmm. You are.
You're wearing a mask. and not the mask that they told you to wear 2 years ago. You're wearing a mask.
Yeah. And it's
Imposter
really
syndrome.
honestly sad that a lot of people feel like they have to do that. They feel like they have to because, and I know that's something that I struggle with. I had to start to put on a mask because, after my mom passed away, I was still grieving many years afterwards. But, I had people telling me, people are not going to want to hear you talk. People are not going to want to hear what you have to say about her. People don't want to, the people are tired of hearing you. People are tired of you being sad. People are tired, tired, tired. So I started to put up a facade, and
Hmm.
it was not a healthy thing for me. What I should have done was actually just gotten help
Yeah.
and not listen
Listen.
to it and cover up my mess.
Who? Pause right there. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. We oftentimes do that.
Hmm.
Imposter syndrome is called because we're afraid of somebody else's opinion of us. We're afraid so much to express ourselves because of what you are going to say about me.
Hmm.
And we have to not get stuck into this. We have to learn how to unstuck ourselves.
Hmm.
Hello.
I agree.
We have to learn to unstuck ourselves. Because
Right.
if we continue to think of how someone will think about us, we are going to stay stuck. We are not going to leave that broken little girl or the broken little boy. And we're going to grow, we're going to have relationship, and we're going to take that broken child with us.
Right.
But where are
Exactly.
we going?
I don't know how far you could make it broken. I don't know how far you can make it.
You cannot. Because if you broke a toe, somehow you're going to have to attend to that toe.
Mm-hmm.
If you broke a nail, ooh, oh my, you gotta have to attend to that nail. The minute we broke a nail, oh, we gotta go get it fixed. Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me, I broke a nail. We gotta get it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are broken emotionally, people, I'm gonna pause right there. That's yeah. Yes, we will not be sitting here no longer being broken because we tend to figure that we are by ourselves, we are facing things by ourselves. But no, we are not facing things by ourselves. And traumatic event and situation, all this stuff let us believe that we are by ourselves, but we're not.
Right.
So let us get into that little girl Precious. Let us get into the mind of little Precious, darling Precious. Because I just keep on wanting to say precious, precious, but yeah, that's not working. I want to say darling precious. Let us go to that little girl precious. And let us talk about that little girl. What was your aspiration? What was your dream in that little girl?
Okay, so when I was a little girl, I really I always wanted to get into some type of entertainment. I had dreams of like being a dancer at one point. I was really good at swimming. I was good at a lot of things before I was disabled. But when I became disabled, I really started writing a lot more. But I always in my mind, I really wanted to go to college
Mhm.
and I wanted to get into a career. But after that ended up not working. I was just like, so I think I just want to take this seriously because it's something that I'm good at. It's something that's easy. It comes really easy to me.
Mhm.
But as a kid, I really didn't have a clear, concise pathway that I wanted to take. I was kind of like, I don't know. I was willing to explore a lot of different avenues though because I was good at a lot of things.
So you're this free spirit
I am kind of, I guess you could call me a bit of a
or
freak.
creative.
Yeah, I'm very creative. and I was a good athlete too. Well, particularly swimming. I wouldn't say a good athlete, but swimming and ball.
Let's be specific.
Yeah, I have to because certain stuff I suck at. I suck horribly. Whew, it's a
Let's be so
shame.
specific in here. Like, yeah, swimming.
It's a shame. I can't even sit here and lie to you.
Like, no, 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 not all of that. Just swimming. Thank you. Please and thanks. So
Whew.
again, if you are just tuning in, we are talking to my darling sister here, Precious Carson, who is a creative. Because I can't go list all the stuff that she's doing. So I'm just gonna give her one title, and that's creative. So if you do have questions for her, please drop it in the comment section. If you have encouraging words, drop it there. If you have word of whatever you have that's positive, drop it there. We take it. That's your fee to be here. And again, you have the chance to share this live while we're still rolling. And my darling, before I go into another question, give me the poem that you are about to read so we can hear it.
Okay, this one is called. Hold on, let me go to my This one is called Resources. Okay, here I go. This one is called Resources. I wrote Resources because I wanted to give a good description of how I was feeling about. I was at a good place. It was at a good place in my life, and I wanted to give a description of how I felt about love at the time. Okay, so here it is. Resources. I saw love inside of you before the hate had a chance to make an entrance. And in doing that, a creation blossom known as a soul tie. I crushed the initial thought with the crevices in the forefront of my mind. In doing so, I found what love was. Love was no judgment. Love was understanding. Love was, in fact, patient. Love was kind. Love was us. It was always in the building. Use it for good.
Hmm. Well, that's right there. Love was no judgment. If
Yeah.
you didn't get in, I just told you, juicy contents be dropping, and I've been trying to write down as much as I possibly can. And I told you, golden nuggets and juicy contents drop here. Love was no judgment.
Hmm. Love is absolutely no judgment. And I didn't realize where love had lied for me. It was in so many different places that I never ever thought to cross, like the places that I never thought to seek out. And those I realized all of those great things about it, and I was like, um oh, I'm sorry, I see a question. Okay, there we go.
So I think we
um
answered that one already.
yeah, I know, I see now. Okay, so I just when I figured out what love really was, I was just like, wow,
Yeah, because I was about to ask you, what is
great.
your
It's
definition of
actually
love?
not, because I was always like really kind of cold and mean. I was always afraid of love. Like, no, I'm not the loving type, like, I'm very serious, but I don't know. When I finally got a taste of it, it was really good.
Yeah, because that was my next question. Like, how do you define love?
I define that is so hard. And people have asked me that so many times throughout my life, and I've never been able to answer it. I cannot answer that question because I could talk about it all day. It's so
Yes.
odd. And love means so many different things. Love means a lot of things to me. And
Yes.
so I can't just give you a definition because that'd be like boxing in. That'd be like putting a ton of clothing in a small package.
An audience, you can drop your definition of love as I asked you the same as I asked Precious the same question. The same question applies to you. You can answer that same question. What is your definition of love? Because see, because love is so powerful, love is such a force above every other force that is so hard to put one definition to it.
Hmm.
Love covers everything. Even when we are bullied, even when we even bully ourselves, there's something about love
Hmm.
that sometimes what we do with love, we mistake love for sex, but it's not so. Because
Right.
sometimes when I say, "Oh, I love you," no, it's not sexual. Love got different ways
Right.
to define it. And
Right.
we often afraid to tell even the next gender, "I love you."
Hmm.
We're afraid to tell the next person, "I love you." Why is it so hard? Because it's so powerful.
It is. It
It
is.
is so powerful, and that's why it is so hard for us to put it out there genuinely because we're afraid of power.
Right.
We're
Right.
afraid of power.
Hmm.
As a people, we're afraid of power.
Because it could make you or break you.
Yes.
It's like, if you're afraid to give somebody that kind of power over you because you're like, what if you just break me in half with all of the power that you have over me? And a lot of times that's where I would run away from it because I'm like, oh no, you can't do this. No, 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 no.
So we hide ourselves, right? And we don't give ourselves that space. And we're supposed to learn to give ourselves that space that we welcome love. We suppose and because we have been to traumatic event, we define love in that hurtful way. Oh, but
Hmm.
that's love. Oh, but that's love. Oh, because that's what I saw. No, you individually have to learn
What
to
love?
find your meaning of love.
Hmm.
So, with that said, your book is titled Mind, Body, and Soul.
That's it again.
Mind, Body, Soul. That's your book. Tell us how you came up with that title because that's a mouthful by itself.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, though some of the poems were how I felt about my mind, some were how I felt about the feelings that would course through my veins and my body, and the complete depths of my soul. Like this is my soul on paper. And so yeah, that is why I named it Mind, Body, Soul, because it's all of me.
Lord Jesus, girl, hold on. Because I try to tell people to get themselves something to drink because, yeah, we do need something to drink. I try to tell y'all people that when y'all come in here on the question on Thursday, that you should have something to drink. Yes, I have to take a sip right now because I had to swallow that. Like, because you know what happened? We don't let people get to our soul, honey. We don't let people get to our soul. Our soul is a door that stays closed. Sometimes we use the term loosely, soulmate and all that stuff. But when you can put your soul on paper, you're opening that door and say, "This is who I am.
Hmm. Right.
This is who I am."
Yeah, I
Take it
wanted
or
to
leave it.
bear it all. I wanted to bear it all. I didn't want it to be like, I didn't want it to be fake or false in any kind of way. I wanted to make sure that I was as authentic as possible because I really want to help people that have been through some of the same things that I have.
And we're afraid. You know what? We're afraid to be authentic.
Yes.
We are afraid to be authentic. And that is where the struggle is today. As a set of people, we're afraid to be authentic. Until you can be authentic, you are not fulfilling your purpose here on earth.
Right. Exactly. Because
You know,
people need to know. People need to know your story. I feel like if you want to be a help, you want to be a force of good in any kind of way, you have to be
be
completely
genuine.
honest. Or
Just be honest. Yeah, imposter syndrome is real, people, because so many people walking around with that syndrome.
yes.
Yeah, but how can I help you? How can I inspire you? How can I empower you without you seeing the real me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm taking the real me and I'm hiding it. But you see, you have to learn to know that your story is not always for you. Your story is for somebody else.
And that's how I feel. I even have a poem. It's called For the World. And it's just about, how I feel like a lot of my struggles and things, they didn't make me feel good, but I feel like I'm here to inspire the world in my own way.
Okay, people, hope you're writing because now I have to write.
Yeah, sometimes you just feel like you're for the world because a lot of things that happen to you, they aren't beneficial. They don't feel good. It doesn't
No,
feel good
oh,
to go through those things at all. But it makes other people, it inspires and motivates other people to do. You never know how big a person is going to become, but you may motivate them to take the next step. And they could be one of
yeah.
the most influential people in the world.
Because right now, I'm going to call you a survivor. Because, see, we're
Thank
survivors, right? You are a survivor. And that's another reason why I want to celebrate you right now because you are a survivor. Because situations, circumstances that came about that would have taken you down, but somehow you raise your head up and you're here. You're sitting right here and you're telling the world, listen, I am here to inspire you. I'm here to inspire you. So if I'm here to inspire you, it's because I survived something
right.
and I survived it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
Sometimes what we don't know is that today, right now, in this moment, was already waiting for us.
right.
It was already waiting for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to learn to see today, right now.
I agree.
See your end result, people. See your end result. Lisa, yes, Lisa, it is great to know how we are now coming out and expressing things about our lives to be a testimony to help someone else, which
I
is
agree.
absolutely right.
I agree because
Because,
it was taboo to talk about mental health at all, especially as a black person. It is taboo.
oh,
You don't talk about mental health. Are you crazy?
yeah, you shouldn't do that. Like, no, whatever happened here should, and don't go to therapy.
Do not tell people you
Ooh,
telling people your business, girl. What's wrong with you?
girl, what's
Yeah,
happened here stays right here.
yeah,
No, no.
crazy.
That stop doing that, and we have to come. We have to evolve out of these things. We have to
Hmm.
evolve because we have to learn that it's a lot of us here, and where they take it mental health to 1 month. No, it should not be for 1 month. It should be right through the year
Hmm.
because mental health happen every single day. People are
Right,
struggling mentally.
right.
Right now, we have today is Veterans Day. And mark my word, so many veterans are struggling mentally.
From PTSD, a lot of them have post traumatic stress disorder. I grew up with a granddad, and he had PTSD really horribly. Like every little thing he would just go, like he would flip, and it took nothing to set him off. And how you are now coming out about things. Thank you so much, Miss Lisa. But everything little thing that would happen, he would just flip, and he did things like, I remember once he shot an animal in front of me and all kinds of things, like, and that stuff is like really, I don't know. It's traumatic. It was a little traumatic for me to see that at a young age. The fact that he couldn't decipher whether or not that was appropriate let me know that was kind of like losing it a little bit.
Yes.
Hmm.
And our emotional state of mind, our mental state of mind need to be healed. Need to be healed because we have so many broken men and women out there, and we need to heal so we can have our testimony, as Lisa says. Our testimony need to be known. But how can we do that if we don't know who we are and if we don't seek that healing?
Right.
Because we have to seek that healing. We have to come to a point where we have to be healed so we can say, all right, Precious, now I'm going to tell you my story.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, now I'm going to tell you my story. Lavon, now I'm going to tell you my story.
Mm-hmm.
Judy, now I'm going to tell you my story because somewhere inside of me is here. Somewhere inside of me is pounding against the wall of my chest in my mind saying, I need to release that. I
Right.
need to get that out there.
Right. And it honestly seemed like, I don't know whether it was fate or not, but I was not even able to really to move forward with any of my art until I had gotten over everything that had happened to me. I was not able to move forward at all. With I was very stagnant in my life. My progression was like no, it was like not happening
And that's
until
it.
I had gotten over it.
How can we move when we are not healed?
Hmm.
Because if you broke a foot, you can't move. You're there.
Yep. You
You
just can't
see?
go anywhere. You cannot move. It,
No.
it's so real. So real.
And you see, most of the time, mental health and mental issues and emotional bruise and traumatic event usually happen to us and usually affect us from somebody else's action.
Right.
From
Usually not
somebody else's
because I
action.
don't think we didn't intentionally hurt ourselves.
No, we are not creatures and we are not beings. We are not spirit beings where we were created to help to hurt ourselves. So whatever traumatic event, whatever situation that we face, it is the cause of somebody else's behavior. So when we are struggling mentally, when we're having mental health breakdown, when we're having all these things, it is somebody else's behavior that is adding on to us, that we are taking on, and we are running with that.
Hmm.
Because if I ask you right now to tell yourself that I will not hurt you or I love you, sometimes you might say that's hard.
Hmm.
Because then you start thinking of what somebody did to you.
Hmm. And a lot of times you don't even realize what you're doing when you do it. It's like I don't know. It's like you just don't realize it. Like a hard head makes us off behind, kind of thing. It's like you have to learn from those experiences to say I'm not gonna play with fire willingly anymore.
Yeah. So let us talk. There's one word on your book. It's called the body. Because we're gonna zoom out of the mind in a second.
Mhm.
The body. Let's talk about that one word for you.
Mhm.
You're in the body mind because right now we're in the body state of mind.
Right.
You mentioned earlier, and I think I have it written down. You mentioned earlier that you're labeled disabled.
My arm.
Your arm is disabled.
Yes.
All right. So what is your biggest struggle in that?
Um. To be honest, I've actually got over a lot of my insecurities and struggles from it. But I will say that the thing that I had the most difficulty with dealing with was the identity issues. I'm like, okay, I still feel like the same person. So should I act like the same person? But if I act like the same person, other people might think something is wrong with me. Like, how do other people see me? It was like a lot of identity. It was an identity crisis going on in my mind for a long time. And I didn't know who to be or how to act. But I felt like the same person, so it was a struggle for me, and because I didn't want to look stupid. I don't want to be. I'm like, I'm a little insecure now, so I don't want to be like that strong girl that I used to be. Do I need see it's kind of tripping me up right now, but yeah, that was what I really struggled with the most until I just realized that I just kind of needed to be naturally myself.
Identity crisis.
Yes.
Yeah. Be yourself. We oftentimes hear that, but we don't know who we are.
Hmm.
And that takes us back into the your first word on your book, mind.
It's a mind thing, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, who is Precious?
Let's see. I still have difficulty answering that question too. But I'm gonna answer it as best as I can, I promise. So Precious
Listen, honey,
is
we right here, okay? We right.
just bear with me a little bit.
We
Okay.
got you, honey. We got you.
The
So right
Precious
now,
uh,
listen, if you need to sip some water, sip your water.
yes, Lord. So Precious is somebody that's really I'm extremely generous. I'm extremely nice. And I'm a person that has chosen not to let what has happened to me in my life define who I am. I don't want to be a broken person just because you see me and I look a certain way or my persona is a certain way. I would prefer for people not to label me because, I'm so many things in one. So if I could describe myself, I would just say I'm just myself. I don't think you can place me in a box because I try to be I try to be someone that is nurturing to all situations that come my way. I don't want to just be a certain kind of person and I'm not able to relate to or appeal to certain people. No, I really want to just take everything that I've learned and be able to help different people. So, in me being selfless and me wanting to help people, I have become somebody who's very relatable. And so, yeah, I would just say that, I'm just myself and I don't think you could place me in a box. That's what I think.
I am myself.
Mhm. I don't think I can be placed in a box per se.
Audience, I will ask you the same question. Who are you? We are not by titles. And so many times we define ourselves by titles.
Mhm.
We are not by titles. We are queens and kings of the higher being. We are spirit being from a higher power.
Mhm.
We are powerful. We are strong. We are courageous. We are that we are when we know who we are. And nobody can take that from us.
Right.
Nobody. I oftentimes use the analogy of the butterfly and the cocoon and the caterpillar. You see, when the butterfly evolves, there's no way for it to return to be a caterpillar.
Like, so once you're there, you just like it seems like the metamorphosis is done. Like that's
It's
just it.
gone. Because I believe the caterpillar is, I think when the butterfly evolve, I think the caterpillar just fade away. Like it's gone, like it fades away, like it's no longer there. So therefore, when you find who you truly are, authentic you, nobody can take that from you because you cannot return to what they defined you as. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening to this episode, seek to know who you truly are. Because it's only when you seek to know who you are, your total man will be aligned with the Creator. Your total being, your body, your mind, and your soul will become one. And your holistic man will be at peace. Because so many times we are walking around, we're not at peace because something
Right.
is, the mind could be off, the body could be off, and the spirit is off, the soul is off, everything is off. So we are not holistic. We have to learn to bring in the holistic
Could
man
you hold
and be
just one
yourself.
second? I'm sorry. Ma, I'm on a podcast. Ugh, gosh.
And that's what happened when we have mom on the other end.
I'm so sorry. Gosh.
Listen, honey,
doing
you
this.
are yourself. You are yourself. You don't worry. You don't apologize for being yourself. That's what this show is all about. You're here. You're in my house. We good to go. We're all family right here. Don't you worry about it. So let us know where we could get that book.
My book is available on Amazon right now.
Okay, so you want to see the name again? Put that book up again. Do you have the link to put up in the chat?
This is it. It is Mind, Body, Soul.
You can't miss it. It's a book of poetry.
By Precious Carson.
Okay, you see, Precious Carson, we are going to put up the link later. So it's easy when we have the link. We just click, we go, we write on it, and we good to go. So if you have questions again, please jot them down. If you have encouraging word, inspiring words, please jot them down just the same. Lisa, thank you again for that great comment you put in right there. So let's talk about, before we go, let us know how we can follow you.
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram at I am Precious Carson. I post a lot of my pieces on Instagram, and sometimes I post pieces that I actually that I don't have published. So make sure to follow me, follow, so you can check out my newest stuff.
All right, and we're gonna ask you to do another poem before we go. We're gonna ask you to do another poem. So again, people, you have the time to sip something while she's gathered another poem for us because poetry is it. Hello. Before we go, before you read your other poem, who is your favorite poet?
Okay, so let me see. That is actually a difficult question.
Or who
But
inspired you who inspired you in most of your writing? I mean, your
I'm gonna
stories,
be
but
honest
who
with you.
inspired you
I'm gonna
as a
be honest.
writer?
I know it's cliche, but Maya Angelou's my main influencer from when I was a kid. That's who
Girl,
I went off of.
listen,
Older, but she's and I know she's older, but I love her style of writing. I feel like it's really empowering. And I was always like a low key feminist. So I just absolutely love her. I love her. I'm a huge Maya fan. And I'll
listen.
always be.
If Maya's not in our house, Maya, listen, Maya, honey. If she's not in our name and if she's not in our mouth, if we're not talking about her, then we ain't talking about nothing.
Nothing at all.
So we're gonna ask you to give us another one of your poem.
Okay, awesome. This one is called Confusion. I carry the children. I birth the children. Take care of the children. Take more pain. Carry the anguish that a menstrual cycle brings. Work the 9 to 5. Take care of home. So how can I be thought of as the weaker one when I do all of these things? And that's it. And I wrote that it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm gonna be honest. I wrote it because so many times men think that because they're bigger and they may be able to carry more weight physically that we're the weaker ones in society. But I feel like the woman carries so much. We carry so much, and we're expected to wear so many hats. And I just think that it's unfair to call us the weaker ones when we do all of these things. We're the bearers of life, and it's really unfair a lot of times to put us in a box.
Honey, darling, darling, precious. Hello. Somebody, can we get a cheer? Listen here. Can we do a praise dance up in here? See, I like, honey, we cannot, under no circumstances, accept that title as the weaker one.
Right. I just it's
If
unfair.
we can bring life, if we can carry life in our body, which is one of the word on your book, if we can carry a life in our body, holding the mind of that life that we are carrying the soul of that which we are carrying, shaping that which we are carrying, giving birth to that which we are carrying. Honey, we are never and will never be the weaker vessel.
Exactly. And I wish so many more people saw it like that. But society has made us feel like we're just weak and meek, and we need to be quiet. We need to hush. I think we need to speak out more.
And that's it. You saw Lisa put it right there. We have to learn to, we are coming to a point where we have to express ourselves.
Right.
Society tells us this, and society tells us that, and society says this, and society says that. But what do we say?
Exactly. How
What
do
do
you
we
feel? Do you feel like the weaker one? Because I know I don't feel like the
I
weaker
listen, honey, I'm power, baby. I'm power.
one.
No, honey, I'm power.
Right. Exactly.
No, you will never define me as a weaker vessel when I bring life. You see, I am the one that give life to man.
That's all I'm saying.
I dare you to call me a weaker vessel. I breathe life into man. I put man on the earth. So how can I put man on earth for man to walk around, to man to create something, and I am the weaker vessel? There's no such thing.
Right.
Women, I'm calling women at this point to come forward, to speak their truth, to accept who they really are, because you are not only a title. You're not the title of a wife, you're not the title of a mother. You are power. You are power in every sense there is. Because when you give life, I dare you. I dare you to define me less than powerful.
Hmm.
I dare you to define me less than goddess. I dare you to define me less than a queen. Because there's no such thing. I will not accept that. I don't care what society says. Society has the right to say whatever they want to say. But I have the right to accept what I know.
Right.
You, precious, have the right to accept what you know about who you are.
Hmm.
Lisa, you have the right. Judy, you have the right. And I'm calling women at this point and this episode. I want this episode to let you know once you hear my voice, whether you will watch this on replay, I'm calling you woman. I'm calling you out of that little girl that is sitting in a corner. I'm calling you out of your brokenness to say, I am myself. See, all the stuff that we've been through, they all define us. Because at the end of the day, your story is your story. My story is my story. But it is what defines us as individuals. So as we come collectively as women, let us know that we are powerful. We are strong. Because without us, honey, there's no man.
No life.
I'm just going to say that just like that. And I'm going to take it just like that as we close out this episode of the question, take it or leave it. So before I go, I always ask one off question. How many pens do you have?
At least 50.
Yeah, that's always my off question. I always ask an off question at the end. So, my darling Precious, I want to thank you so much for gracing us.
I
And I
thank you too.
oftentimes says this on the show.
Thank you
I
so
don't
much.
like
I love what
fan.
you do.
I don't like the word fan. I like the word family. So to my left, there's a chair, and I call that my guest chair. So because now you are here, you are part of the family. So your name is stamped onto this guest chair. So whatever you're coming up with, whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing, whatever support you are asking for, please do not fail to knock back on this door. You are welcome here anytime you
Thank
want.
you.
That when you come back, I would say, welcome home. So I want to take the time to send blessings to you, to send peace to you, to send strength to you, to send success to you.
Thank you so much. And I love what you do. And I just want to encourage you to keep on going because you're great.
because you are great and you're so great. So we are great together. And we are going to create greatness, honey. We are going to create greatness. So this moment, I want to give you one more second to give your final word to the audience.
My final word to the audience is just to never give up. Keep pushing. Whatever it is that inspires you and motivates you to keep you going, hold on to it, cling to it, and don't let life ever take you under.
I say nothing else. So, with that said, audience, I want to thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Without you, there is no me, and without me, there is no you. So, on this night episode, mm, we went in the mind, body, and the soul. So I ask you, who are you? And that is our question here. Ask yourself that. Don't define yourself by title, but define yourself by your true identity. We are no longer going to wear masks and be at the imposter syndrome, but we will walk around finding ourselves truly and stand in our grace and stand in our power. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, Lisa, Lavon, Judy, and those who will watch us and replay. I want to thank you so much because without you, there is no me. So again, this is your host right here on the question saying peace, love, joy, and blessing to every one of you. But most of all, I send success because no one person can succeed by themselves. And I want to thank Total Entertainment Radio as they will air this episode next week, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in as we close out this episode of The Question. Again, this is your host, Verona Willis-Brown saying, see you next week, same time, same place. And veterans, thank you for serving this country. We'll see you soon.